Today I'm going to talk to you about one word that you could reduce the use of and replace with another word that could have a fundamental impact on how you engage your everyday life. And that word is fight. As Americans, many of us love the word fight. We place it in so many different contexts, like the fight against cancer, the fight for our lives, the fight for this, the fight for that. And even in our homes, we tend to use the word fight more often than necessary, when the word argument could actually be the more appropriate word for the context. I know that many couples, for example, they'll say, "We got in a fight yesterday," and then they'll just proceed to, in many cases, just describe what is a disagreement or an argument at best. And you might wonder to yourself, well, what's the big deal? So what? I experienced it as a fight. But here's the big deal. When we use the word fight, we actually set our brains up for the objective of a fight. And the objective of a fight is to win. So when you fight with someone, the idea is that you're going to defeat that person. And not only are you going to defeat that person, you're going to bring them to submission. And theoretically and most optimally, bring them to a point of submission so that they can never fight again. Now, is that something that you want to have, a kind of experience you want to have with your partner or your child when you say we have a fight? Or do you want to argue? And the point of an argue, or the objective of an argument, is not to win, but to get closer to the truth. And so when we actually have arguments, when we take the time to try to express our points of view as effectively as possible, even when it can be frustrating or tiring, what we're doing is we're actually getting a greater sense of awareness of where we stand. And we're also getting a greater sense of awareness of where the other person stands. And if we are arguing from that place of clarity and that point of, or that intention of being able to get to a closer sense of what is true and what is accurate, you actually can walk away from an argument clear on your own point of view and more respecting of a person with a different point of view. And sometimes, heaven forbid, you might just change your mind. So it's very important to be able to understand what is a fight and what is an argument. And so I am suggesting to folks to think about when you're about to use the term fight and ask yourself, is it really that? Is it a fight? Is it Rocky Balboa against Ivan Drago when you're having a conversation with your partner about what's for dinner? It probably isn't. And if it isn't, then why not replace that word? It's very easy to do. Just every time you're about to say fight, say, you know what, an argument. And then go from argument to discussion, and go from there, from discussion to dialogue, or whatever the case may be. But bring it down a notch, because what we're doing inadvertently is we're triggering our amygdala, and we're acting like we're in a war when we're having conversations, or what could be conversations, about many things in our society, in our homes, etc. And when we move from that place of argument, or for fighting and triggering the amygdala, and we go into that place of argument where we're actually trying to deliberate and understand, we activate another part of our brain, which is the cingulate cortex. So the idea here is to be mindful, be present, determine whether you're having a fight or an argument, because sometimes there is a time to fight, usually not with your spouse or your kids, your coworkers or your neighbors. And to get better sense of what is an argument. So that's my tip for the millennium. Get fighting out of your mouth when it's not appropriate. Replace it with argument, discussion, dialogue, etc. And hopefully you'll find that you're not as triggered, and that other people aren't as triggered around you. Because if someone's fighting and another person's arguing, it kind of eventually does turn into a fight. But to bring it down a notch and get to a space where we can be able to relate to each other across differences. That's my tip for the millennium. Take care. Hope you got something out of this.